welcome everybody to tonight's stream. If you're new to this channel, then welcome. This is TheOtherJames, and that's me. I am TheOtherJames, and this is my wonderful, gorgeous fiance, Jocelyn. Mwah. Hello, darling. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And if you aren't aware of what's going on, if you haven't read the description yet, or if you haven't seen the title, today we are joined by a very amazingly special guest star, our good friend Adira. Adira, would you like to say hi?
Hi guys.
Adira is here on voice chat with us tonight. Adira is a psychology student and she needs to interview a couple, and she has some questions about the psychology of our relationship. And so we thought, why not have you on our show as a guest star? And so we're very grateful you're here. Thank you for being here, Adira.
Of course, I'm super happy to be here and super excited too.
Well, let me just real quick switch our format over just a moment. Oh goodness. Let me just switch how we're viewed. Give me a second. It's fine. This is the closest we're gonna get. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right. So now let's bring up. We got a real quick. We're gonna wait for people to get in. We're gonna let everything load up. While we're waiting, we're gonna see how people are joining in the chat. We've got one person in the chat already. Joshua's in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. So Adira, when we have guest stars on, we've started this habit of having a little bit of a hot seat to get to know our guest stars. And I know that this evening is specifically designed to interview me and Jocelyn. However, what I didn't tell you was that you've fallen for my trap, and now we're going to ask you questions about yourself before we start.
I mean, sounds great to me, so.
So, first, please introduce yourself. What would you like the people of YouTube to know about yourself before we dive into the festivities of tonight?
Well, I don't know, I actually have to think about this.
What do you, we said you're a student. Is that like, is student your occupation right now? You know, what are the cursory details of your life, your social security number, all that stuff?
No, I'm not giving one, but yes, I'm a full-time student. I attend UVU, and I am in their psychology program because I'd like to become a marriage counselor. So I'm in a family science class right now, which is why I need to interview these lovely people, because I have an assignment to fulfill, and we were like, hey, let's hit two birds with one stone, you know? So I have been studying psychology for roughly 6 years now. I've got quite a bit under my belt. But yeah, and it's just kind of fun to learn stuff like that. Do you have any other specific questions?
No, I think that's great. Thank you so much for being here. I did not know that you were specifically going to school with the hope of being a marriage counselor, so that's wonderful. I guess we can talk a little bit about how you and I know each other. Adira and I met Actually, I just remembered how we met initially.
She was still on here earlier.
Oh, she was?
Yeah.
Okay. So Adira and I met because it was a bit of a blind date's not the right word, but it was through a dating app, but we were going on a date the same evening that I was getting my blood drawn, or I was donating plasma for the first time. And so I was a little loopy, and a little tired and a little bit like, I'm gonna be completely honest, I just really need food and nutrients right now.
And I was like, let's hit up a Chinese restaurant. You're getting food.
It's true. And I wouldn't even say it was a date. Like it was really nice because you had two of your sisters there, right?
Yeah, I had two of my sisters there too.
And so it was legitimately just like making friends with three people that I didn't know, but it was kind of chill. Like we had talked a little bit previously over text to get to know each other, and then upon spending time that evening, I don't remember it feeling any like particularly like a date. I just remember it being like really nice because I'm like, this is nice. These are just some nice people that I'm hanging out with. I'm making some friends, and that's exactly what happened because I went over and I spent time with Adira and her entire family. Adira, what she didn't mention yet is that Adira is also a wonderful writer, as are many of her siblings and her father. And I've had the honor of spending evenings at their house while we're all in a circle, engaging in a writing party, and everybody's writing their own projects, and we're passing it around and having and suggesting edits and such. And those were some memories that I've carried with me and that I've tried to implement in my new community. I don't know if I told you that, Adira, but we have writing parties and we're starting to bring it more into our live shows as well.
Oh, that's awesome. We love writing.
And since then, Adira, you are married, right?
Correct. I've been married it'll be a year and 2 weeks.
Woohoo! Oh, so you guys just celebrated your anniversary then?
No, not quite. It'll be March 7th is our anniversary.
Oh, sorry. I heard it'll be a year and 2 weeks. So I was like very specific. I like it. But you said it. So you're going to celebrate your anniversary pretty soon?
Yes.
Very awesome.
Very exciting. Well, by the time this evening is up, I would love for you to tell the rest of your family that I say hi and that I miss them all very much.
I for sure will relay the message.
So, before I give any more ado, we want to acknowledge the people coming to the chat. We've warmed up. We've kind of talked a little bit. First, we want to say hi again, Joshua, the first person in the chat, followed by Lara. Lara has come into the chat and said hello. Hello, Lara. And then, of course, one of our loyal followers turned moderator, Ha Wong, the legend, as always, is in the chat. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you. I see there's a lot of people in here right now. We're in the double digits, which for me is wild. The day we get into triple digits, I might cry. That would be wonderful. But anyway, so before we go ahead and jump into the interview, there is one more. We have a bit of just like housekeeping to do with our live show. So for anybody who's been following along this month, our community goal is centered around the aspect of health, mental health. We talked in, I think it was our last show. In our last show, which was the first Friday of this month, somebody said, "Can we wave?" Somebody in the chat asked if we could wave. In the first show of this month, we came together and we came up with a goal that focuses on mental health, a sort of small self-improvement goal that we can all talk about. And if you guys were there, you'll remember our guest star was our amazing friend Ayub, and he was fantastic, and we really, really enjoyed having him on. Haley Hinton has jumped in the chat and is asking for some waves, so we'll give some extra waves. So if any of you guys are wondering why we didn't have a show last week, it was the night before Valentine's Day. We were actually at a big event. We were at a dance, and yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was very nice. Mm-hmm. Haley Hinton says, "Yay, thanks," in all caps, and I love the all caps. Hearts. So Haley, if you haven't been here before, welcome. We're here with our friend Adira, and she's about to interview us. She's a psychology student, and she's about to interview us about our relationship. So I see no reason that we shouldn't just jump right in. What do you say, Adira?
I'm all for it.
Okay, so go ahead. I'll turn the time over to you.
Sounds perfect. So our first question here, because I honestly don't know very much about y'all's relationship, so we're starting with the very beginning. How did y'all's meet, and what was your impression of each other when you first met?
That goes to her first. Before you answer, I just want to say hi to Doughboy in the chat. Doughboy is back once again. I'm so thrilled every time I see him come in. All right, go ahead, love.
I'm actually, the reason it's me is because I'm apparently the only one who really remembers the specifics of it. And I don't know for sure if it's the first time we met, but it's the first time he stood out in my mind. Was when I was going to a church activity for the first time, and I was like super shy and anxious little girl, and I was like felt super invisible. And James, like, who was the center of the crowd, and like everyone was talking with him all night. It was very clear he was popular. Like had people hanging out with him all the time. Came up to me towards the end after I'd been like, I don't like this church activities because nobody talks to me. He came up towards the end and was like, "Hey, I've got a question for you." I don't even remember the question. It was something about like Disney or Marvel, but it was very James. And I remember being like, wow, like the most popular guy here noticed me at all. Like, I got very used to in middle school being invisible, and so like to have somebody like actually see through that was like very rare. And I was like, man, I want to be like him. Maybe I want to be like him when I grow up.
So that is her
Sweet.
first memory. That's her first memory of me, and I don't necessarily have a first memory of her. My family moved here to Arizona in 2018, and so I was halfway through high school, and I met a lot of people. One thing, anybody who knows me, anybody who's like been to these streams probably knows or could figure out that I'm a very outgoing person. I am an extrovert, and so I do make a lot of friends. I talk to a lot of people, and so I wouldn't even say. And again, she remembers this more clearly than I do, and it's a difference of perspective. I would say that I definitely was more popular here in Arizona among my teenage peers than I was in California. But I don't remember having a crowd around me the way that she the way that she describes it. I feel like I didn't stick to the people who were also popular. I've always been somebody who's gone out and like found the wallflowers, if you will, and talked to the people. And I think I have this theory actually, and I said this for the first time out loud a few days ago to a coworker of mine. I think that it's because I was unpopular for a long time that I went to the other kids who were sitting alone or who looked alone, and therefore accidentally became popular, because then I knew everyone and everybody knew me. and so I think the reality is that I was unpopular. So I went out and met everybody I could to remedy that, including you.
You helped me, so I became popular-ish after that. I became more outgoing for sure. So you definitely like shaped my life, even if it was just that one silly question that you don't remember. So it worked.
Yeah. So we could go like further, and that's just how we met. That's not how we became a couple. And I don't know if that's a question you have saved for later, or if it would be better to just cover that now, because it is a long but very entertaining story.
Yeah, you guys can honestly go on to that, because I was about to ask. I was like, did you guys get like disconnected and then like reconnect? Like what went around with that?
How do you say yes plural? How do you say yes plurally?
So
go ahead. You want to go?
Like you said, his family moved into like our church ward, and so like we were good family friends. My parents knew his parents, and like sort of we knew of each other just in general. I remember like hanging out with him and being like, wow, he's really cool.
If I may add, the age gap, by the way, we are 3.5 years apart. but 4 years by like school grades, right? Like school levels. So I am. So I moved here as a junior in high school, which meant you were in seventh
grade. I think the memory
Yeah.
I have was in 8th grade, so then it might not have been the first time we met.
No,
Like I said, it's the first time I remember.
But yeah, so when I was a junior in high school, she was still 7th grade in middle school. And by the time I was a senior in high school, about to graduate, she was still an 8th grader in middle school.
Yeah, so...
And so
Right.
that's important for, like, basically the entire story. It's very important to have that background information to understand
Yes.
what was going through both of our heads as this story progresses. Go ahead.
But basically, like I said, he like inspired me, and I went into high school like striving to be super like popular and outgoing like he was, because I really looked up to him, and I will be honest, that did develop into like sort of a childlike crush on, you know, like on like, you know, when you're like a little kid and you have a crush on like maybe a teacher or an idol or like, you know, some celebrity kind of thing. It was more like a celebrity crush than anything. Be quiet, literally.
No, it was the teacher. You said teacher, and I was like,
know.
what? Is that a thing? Do people get crushes on their teachers?
Yeah.
Yes, that's a thing.
Chat!
And it's psychologically based too.
Yeah.
Chat, verify this. Verify this right now. Is this a thing that happens? Has anybody else ever experienced this? That's wild. Okay, sorry, keep going.
I never had a crush on any of my teachers. You were the closest, I guess, oldest person.
Because I was your
You're so
teacher?
old.
Oh, wait. We haven't gotten to that part of the story. Oh, no!
No, so, like, he was, like, I developed, like, a sort of, like I said, like, childish crush on him, and I'm very much still a little bit, like, shy, though, at that point, so I was like, I'm not gonna tell him, are you kidding me? I've never told anybody I've liked them. Still. Like, I've never admitted to a crush unless they, like, said something first, and the only person who's ever done that is him. So, but basically, like, he figured out, like, social deduction, figured out that, like, I liked him.
Are we jumping a little ahead in the story? Or are we...
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know, we were good friends. I think I mentioned that already, though.
Yeah.
Like, if that's what you're thinking.
But, like, when I figured that you had a crush on me, I think... Are you jumping to the conversation where I told you I know you have a crush on me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I should give my background at that point.
Okay.
Then. Yeah. So eventually, as many people know, when I was in the last leg of my senior year of high school, COVID hit. I was a 2020 graduate, and shortly after that, I made the decision to go and serve a mission for the church. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, if anybody out there is unaware. So, when deciding to serve a mission, I had actually just gotten out of a relationship. Not that it ended badly, it's just breakups are never nice. Our lives were just going two separate ways, me and the person that I broke up with, which was fine. But there were a lot of girls, and I guess this does sound both narcissistic and very Mr. Popular, but there were a lot of girls who were interested in me, somehow, right before I was gonna leave for 2 years serving abroad on my mission. And I was like, no, to all of them, right? So that's also important. Before I continue, there's some, anybody watching the screen might have seen me stare open-mouthed at something in the chat. I have just discovered, as of 60 seconds ago, that my brother, who is watching this stream right now, had a crush on his teacher.
It's a normal thing. That happened.
See, my theory up until 90 seconds ago was that maybe it's just a girl thing.
It is predominantly a girl thing, I will admit. From all the psychological studies I've looked at, it's predominantly a girl thing, but it does happen to guys too.
Wild. Anybody else in the chat want to come forth and share? We also have Dope in the chat. He said, he actually jumped in, he wanted to let us know. He says, I showed my teacher, talking about teachers, that's wild. I showed my teacher your video on losing someone, and he liked it so much, he subscribed. That is the highest honor. Thank you so much. It's true. I have a video about grief and loss, and I made that video after a pretty bad breakup in 2023, and also before I had finished editing and uploading the video. Bradley Richards, one of my close friends, passed away. He took his own life, as many people who are regulars on this channel know. And so that video means a lot to me, and it means a lot that you shared it with, one, that you shared it with your teacher, and two, that he said that he liked it. So thank you so much for sharing that, Doughboy. You've made my night. Thank you so much. Okay, so where were we? Yeah, so I'm getting ready to go on my mission. A bunch of girls are like, hey, maybe, and I'm like, no. It's not, no, thank you. I appreciate it, but no, right? So I was kind of dodging any attempt at courtship left and right, because I was going to be gone for 2 years. I didn't want that on my mind, and I was fresh out of my own breakup, right? So,
I mean, fair. That's how I was before I went on my mission too, so
right,
fair.
Exactly. Where did you serve again, Adira?
Newport Beach, California.
That's right. It's been a while. Well, if anybody's asking where I served, it was everywhere. If you guys don't know the story, I served twice in Tucson, Arizona, like 2 separate occasions. I was transferred back here home. I served in Spokane, Washington. I served in Provo, Utah. And then I also served in Rancagua, Chile, in South America. So, everywhere. Big, crazy mission, yeah.
You made your rounds.
I did. I made the rounds. I was like, you all good over here? Y'all good? Okay, I'll move on. Like, I'll keep going. But anyway, so in preparation for my mission, Joanna and I, she was somebody that was like in my circle of people that I talked to, right? And this is my perspective at this point. And there came a point where we were emailing. Wait, how much do you want? I'm going to sum it up in a sentence. How about that? It still embarrasses her a little bit. We were emailing when she said that she liked somebody, and then I was like, yeah, it's me. And she was like, I was like, yeah, because I mean, that's all that I had been dealing with for the last month or so was girls professing their love to me. So her intention in that was not to profess any love to me. She was trying to be like, oh, do you like anybody, so that she could hear who I liked and decide to ship me and that person together so she could get me out of her head.
This is what I've done for nearly every other crush that I've had, is I find out who they like, or somebody that they would look really good with, and then I'm like, those would be cute together, and then I can drop my own crush, because I'm like, they're cute together, and I don't want to interrupt that. And so I was trying to do that, and instead he was like,
it backfired.
I'm not focused on anybody right now. He didn't even say no all the way. It was like,
no, I just said like, no, I don't have anybody. I'm like actively deciding not to have anybody right now. And she was like, well, there goes my plan. And then I turned the question on her, and I was like, you sound like you have somebody that you're thinking of. And then it went all on fire. It burst into flames from there.
Immediate panic.
And so I guessed it. It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard. But I guessed like, oh, like, it's me.
Us girls are super easy to read.
Right, exactly. It was super easy to read. And then, from there, I gave her the same answer that I've been giving everybody else, which was just like, regardless, like, I'm not even telling you if I would or wouldn't if situations were different. I'm just saying no, because it's like, I'm telling everybody no right now. It's not an option. I'm not even considering it, not even thinking about it, right?
That's how you meant it. That's not how it came across.
How did it come across then?
Sorry, like, I'm not focusing on dating right now because I'm going on a mission, so, like.
So to you, it still sounded like a possibility?
Yeah, it still sounded like, to me, who'd rather just have a solid no so that I can work on, like, stopping my feelings. It wasn't a no because he didn't like me. It was a no because of circumstances, which I didn't want a yes or no anyways. I wanted to find out who he liked. And so I was like, dang. And then I was stuck with my crush.
For years.
4 years. Lots of years. So many years.
That's brutal.
Yes. It was.
And, like, just to... so I feel like both of us are totally validated in our sides of the story. Specifically because at this point you gotta understand that I was 18 years old and she was 14. So it was also, like, just another thing where it was like, oh, you're sweet, but no.
Yeah.
Right?
I wasn't planning on saying anything.
No, she wasn't trying to get with me or anything, but I didn't know that. It just looked like another girl who had a crush on me. And so I was like, thanks, flattering, but no. And I didn't specifically say, you're 14 and I'm 18. I just said, like, it was the copy pasting that I was telling everybody. Like, no, sorry, I'm not interested in anybody right now. And that didn't help get rid of her feelings. Which I mean, now we can say thank goodness. Because...
It's true.
But, yeah, so then after my mission, I think we can, just for sake of time, I think we can kind of summarize and, like, speed up
Can
to...
I just quickly summarize?
Yeah,
then?
go for it.
I can do it faster.
Speed up to, like, last October.
Yeah, so basically he was all over for his mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, sometimes I saw him, sometimes I didn't. I think I sent him, like, a letter that was just full of glitter because I thought it was funny.
There's a picture somewhere of me just glaring at the camera covered in yellow glitter.
Oh, man.
It also made me think even more. I was like, she has such a massive crush on me. Like, who is she kidding?
It was not meant as a crush. Also, you said to hurry. It was not meant as a crush. It was meant as a prank. Because I thought I was so funny at the time. Anyways.
You are funny.
I am. I'm hilarious. This is why you love me. No, so, like, stop interrupting me.
I'm silent. I'm not saying anything right now.
No, okay, so then after he came back from his mission, he was, like, in Utah sometimes, but sometimes in Arizona. That switched a couple times,
I moved around a bit.
I don't remember exactly how many times, but he was back in Tucson for a short period of time during, in between my junior and senior year, where I was looking for, a SEP mentor, senior exit project, which is basically like I shadow somebody in the workforce that I want to go into for a certain number of hours, and then like I have to write about it and whatever. And so I had been wanting to shadow an artist for the longest time, and I knew this was going to be hard because I didn't know any artists. So I'd been looking all of my junior year, and towards the end, like I was reaching out to him because I was like, oh wait, I remember he loved art, and like maybe he knows somebody that's an artist. And he was like, well, technically I am, and I also know another person. And I was like, can I shadow one of you? Like, I tried to give him an out. If he wanted to just send me to the other person, he could have. By the way, I'm letting you know that I tried, because I knew it was awkward for him. But I was like, I was like, hey, would I be able to like shadow you or the other person? And he was like, sure, you can shadow me. And so I shadowed him for a time and just like got to learn more about his art and stuff, and that was really enjoyable for me. I learned a lot, and just I had a lot of fun. I was like hanging out with a good friend again, and he was like heavily friend zoning me, and then he was like
just to make sure
zoning me. He was like, we can't even be friends because I'm teaching, and this is not what he meant. He didn't mean it that way.
Well, because I still had no indication that you weren't still interested. Like, to me, all signs...
anything.
I know, no. To me, all signs pointed to, oh, she's still interested. And she's still 17, and I'm 21.
Well,
right?
It makes sense to me.
So I'm like, sure, I can mentor you, but we need to keep this as strictly professional as possible, because I was like, I don't even want to play with anything like that. And also, I was in the workforce I was working with early childhood education, and so there were like a whole lot of trainings on appropriate professional relationships with a teacher and a student when one's an adult and one's a minor. So it was just fresh on my mind, and I was like, I don't want anybody, including her, to get the wrong idea, especially because of the fact that I was 21 and she was 17.
Yeah, and it just happened to be bad timing. It was a time when a lot of my friends and even cousins who I had been close with like my entire life had distanced themselves from me. So I ended up
Mm.
I'm gonna be honest, I ended up coming away pretty hurt. Like, it felt like he didn't want to be my friend. That's not how he meant it, and I know, and I understand the backstory behind it.
We've talked about this so many times, so we know, like...
Yeah, but basically, I was, like, real hesitant, and I had also been trying this entire time to gaslight myself out of a crush. Not working. That doesn't work for me. Like I said, it's easier to just ship them with someone else. Because that gets rid of feelings so much faster than anything else has. And so it was like, I was trying to pretend I didn't like him, and so it was like, in my mind, I didn't like him anymore, because that's what I told myself, even though that was incorrect. And so it just, like, hurt a lot to lose a friend, because that's what I valued most at that time. I didn't want anything. And, like, then I graduated high school, and I was starting in college, and I was like, you know what? I don't even care. I am not gonna date anybody at all. I haven't been on a date. I haven't had a first kiss. I haven't had anything at all. And I'm gonna give up for now, because I want to go on a mission as well. And it doesn't feel fair to me to, like, I don't know, like, leave somebody for that amount of time.
You
like
get
a year and a half. And so I was like, I'm just not even gonna, like, also I thought you weren't supposed to date on a mission at all, like, be dating somebody before you left or anything, because of your mission, actually. So, like, I think that's, yeah. You're not supposed to be going on dates, but I think you could technically...
You can have a girlfriend or a boyfriend waiting for you at home.
Yeah, like, you have somebody waiting for you. You just can't be going on dates. But I misunderstood and just thought you couldn't have anybody, like, waiting for you either. And so it was like, I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. Like, I'd have to break up anyways. And so I was like, I'm gonna focus on school, and then I'm gonna focus on my mission.
And then I came back. So what happened at this point, during this time, I was up in Utah, and I had my fair share of a couple of really rough relationships that each one ended really rough. One the one afterwards worse than the one before, but I'm stealing your water because I drank all of mine. Can I have some? So I was, I wasn't, like, fresh out of that situation. There was quite a bit of time between that. This is 2023. And in October of 23, I ended up moving back home again down here to Arizona. And, yep. Nope, I lied. 24. Sorry. Not 23. 23 was when I moved up to Utah again. And then, like...
That's what I thought. I was like, 23?
Yeah, my bad,
No, because I graduated in 24. I had 23.
Yeah.
I'd still be a junior.
So, sorry, 24. 24, I came back to Arizona, and it was October 25th of 2024 that I came back. I moved back here. And it was the first night that I was back. There was another, funnily enough, church activity that my parents were actually running. And I went and I surprised my siblings, who didn't know I was coming home, and, they were super excited. But she was also there, and we saw each other, and it had been a while, and, I knew that she was an adult at this point, and she had been, I think, while we were gone, after some time, she was on my Discord community, which is still a thing. Shameless plug. If you guys want to follow the link in the description and follow the community for lots of self-improvement and supportive community. Yes. She was a staff member while I was gone eventually, just because she ran question of the day. She had a lot of silly questions to ask.
I used to do puns.
Used to do a lot of puns.
And that's why he asked me for questions.
Yeah.
Oh, I love puns.
So we had kept slightly in contact, but still kind of as like somebody I know, right? And it wasn't much more than that. And so then when I came back to Arizona and we saw each other again, it was like, oh my gosh, what's up? And we started catching up and everything. And it was my turn this time. It was my turn because
Sorry.
Oh, now she's gonna start being like, it was my turn because I started hanging out with her. All of my friends were, at the time, they were all out of town. They were on their missions or going to college elsewhere. Anybody that lived in the area before I left my mission, they just weren't around anymore, right? So Jocelyn happened to be my closest friend in the immediate neighborhood vicinity, and also spending time with her the night that I got back, just catching up, was really nice. And so I was like, we should spend some more time together. And this time, any barriers from an age gap or anything had dissipated from my mind, because I'm like, oh yeah, she's 18, 19 something. She was 18. And so it's like, oh, we're both adults. She's graduated from high school. It's not weird. I'm not hanging out with a high schooler who I know has a crush on me. We're just adults. And it's been forever, and she's not acting weird around me, so I'm pretty sure we're in the clear, right? However, we weren't in the clear because we started hanging out, and I slowly started finding myself wanting to spend more and more time with her. And this is the point where I went, oh, and realized that I had now developed feelings for her. But I didn't know if she still felt the same way, but I knew she did at some point, so I was like, oh, there's maybe a solid chance. And so I kept asking, oh, do you want to do this together? Do you want to do this together? Do you want to carpool to the... Oh, you want to jump in?
Yeah,
Go
and
ahead.
I was like, yeah, he was like, yeah, we were like, oh, there's this YSA, young single adult word in our church, and he was like, do you want to come with me? Because I've been wanting to try and go or whatever. And the whole time he's doing all these things, I am heavily telling myself that he doesn't want any, I'm just happy to have his friendship. He doesn't want anything romantic, because that's what happened the last time I saw him. And I since spent a lot of time gaslighting myself into believing that I didn't like him because I couldn't, and I just wanted his friendship. Which is sort of true, except for I still did like him.
But eventually, there was we were spending some time together. We were hanging out. The week of Halloween, we spent the day before Halloween, because it's hey, you want to spend Halloween night together? Because why not, right? The day before, I think it was either the day before or the couple of days before, we spent time together, putting together a costume, a duo costume, and then we spent Halloween night together, and there was a dance the next day. I promise I'm not skipping over these things. I'm just laying out our holy week, basically. There was a dance the next day, November 1st, and then the next day I'm pretty sure we were celebrating my birthday, which is November 1st, but we were celebrating it on the 2nd. And there were, just several things all in a row. We spent, I think, 5 days in a row with each other. We spent 5 days straight with each other. And it was Halloween night where I was like, hey, Before Halloween night? Oh, right, because... Okay, we were shopping for the Halloween costumes, and I was like, by the way, the church is putting on this Halloween dance, and we're planning on doing costumes and stuff. I was like, would you like to go to the dance, go to the activity together, right?
Yeah, you'd asked Sunday, and we were like, let's pick out matching duo costumes.
Something like that.
So I was suggesting duos Tom and Jerry, and other duos, and then he was suggesting couples, and I was like, I can't think anything about this. I can't.
We ended up going for something middle of the line. It was Toothless and Light Fury from How to Train Your Dragon. Still very much a couple, but not.
Valid couple's costume.
Right. It was cute. We still have the pictures. And all the costume pieces.
Yeah.
But it was while we were shopping where I realized that she had never been on a date before. And so then I stopped a bit comically, and I was like, you're kidding me. There's no way. I was like, well, why don't we make this dance a date? Let me take you on a date. Let me, just for the sake of being a gentleman. Which was a lie, because I was interested. But I was also, testing the water as gingerly as anybody could possibly ever test the water.
And I went, oh, friend date.
Oh, gosh.
Once again, just gaslighting yourself and me. No. And so then we went to the dance. Oh no, it was Halloween night. And I was like, the dance was the next day. So I was like, hey, by the way, we had a good time. We watched some episodes of a show or something after we went around trick-or-treating late at night as adults, because it's awesome. And then I was like, we were sitting in her car before, getting her home. And I was like, hey, by the way, I don't know how else to say this other than just to say it, but I've been thinking about you a lot lately, and you've been on my mind.
And I panicked and went, I've been thinking about you too, and I watch all of my gaslighting burn. And I'm like, dang it. What do I do?
And so me, that sounds like a wary green light. And so I'm like, okay, wait, what happened next? Help me out.
but then he was being real vague about it, and he was like, from my perspective, he was being real vague about it. He was like, I don't want to like say anything officially, like I'm just kind of like letting you know I've been sort of thinking about you.
Which I think is a very fair thing to say.
And I was like, okay, I've been sort of thinking about you too, and you don't need to worry. I'm not actually focused on relationships right now. I'm focused on college.
That's right.
And mission, which was true. And I was also trying to reassure him that I'm like, I'm not like obsessed with you like a lot of people thought I was, apparently, when I was in middle school.
And you were.
I wasn't.
You just admitted like 5 minutes ago that you were. What do you mean?
Not obsessed with you. I'm gonna be honest. That has bad connotation for me.
Oh,
so
okay.
I was not obsessed
enamored.
with you. Yeah, like I looked up to you. I liked you. I had a crush. I don't know, but I wasn't like obsessed.
Oh my gosh.
Obsessed implies that she's stalking you, and that she like has pictures of you as her home screen, and you guys aren't even dating.
I barely had the confidence to talk to him.
Enamored would be a much better, better word for that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Is I was like I was like trying to let him know that, hey, you don't have to worry. Please don't like ditch my friendship. Like if you're scared to. Like, you had also mentioned that you had like a bad breakup or two, and you were like still hesitant about like heading into a relationship at all, and I was like, no worries, I am too, you don't need to worry about it, I'm focused on other things right now, it's just not even on my mind. I don't mind going on occasional dates, but like you don't need to worry about like me being like super like, oh, let's start a relationship. I'm like, I'm focused on other things right now. And then was like, can I change your mind?
Yeah, so like, because basically I was like, you know, I said, hey, by the way, you've been on my mind lately, and it's like the most gentlest possible way for me to test the water without scaring her away too much, right? And her response was, I've been thinking about you too. And so I'm like, okay, wary green light. And then she's like, but I don't want a relationship. And I'm like, wary red light. Okay. And then I was like, so, because I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know if she's saying, I don't know. And so then I was like, okay, is this something that like your mind could be changed on or no? Like, and then I don't remember what you said, but you panicked after that. And
yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know.
I think you said maybe.
I was stuck on like autopilot.
I think you were like maybe.
This came out of complete left field for me. I had a crush on him for years, trying to convince myself I didn't, because I didn't believe he could ever. Like I said, it was like a celebrity crush. It'd be like, it'd be like saying, "Oh, you have a chance with your celebrity crush." Yeah, okay, you know, like, and all of a sudden it was like, actually, you know, the celebrity that you thought didn't really know you existed, actually, he might like you.
He's pursuing you. It's a literal fan fiction.
I'm like, what? And I just stuttered to like autopilot. I gave apparently the right responses somewhat, or the wrong ones. I don't know. Kept you interested.
I suppose that's true.
.exe is awful.
Yeah, just like pure autopilot. I was not even thinking. I was basically repeating everything he was saying. So.
Right. She just became like an echo, basically.
I was like, whatever he wants, because I'm scared.
And so, moving to the dance the next day, I was like, I think I have like a wary green light. And so we went to the dance. We were in a couple's costume. She was my date, so like we went to dinner beforehand or something. No, I don't think we did. No. But anyway, we spent the night together, and we're dancing every slow song, and it's like, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the vibes, and I'm like, do we want to talk about this part?
It's awkward. I'll talk about it, okay?
Or
okay?
I can spread it over. I can like sum it up.
Sum it up really fast.
Okay. Basically, I was like, maybe, and I was thinking maybe like, I don't know what I was thinking, but eventually it became no thank you.
do a little more detail.
Okay. So we were dancing, and it was a really nice slow song, and I felt like the magnetism, and I leaned forward slightly, and she leaned away slightly, and so then I like body rolled out and was like, okay, and I'm not trying that again. I was like, never mind. And so then, but I was like, was that my imagination? Did she actually lean away a little bit? So we're sitting down later, and I'm like, hey, so, I don't know if you noticed, this is kind of embarrassing, but I believe in, like, you know, I'm gonna be forthright about things. I'm gonna be, like, upfront. And I said, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't know if you noticed, but, like, I think I almost wanted to possibly kiss you while you were on the dance floor. And at this point, it's like, how much, like, there's no way that she can, like, convince herself that I'm not interested at this point, right? And so she goes,
and that's when my fight or flight kicks in full force, because I'm so scared of losing his friendship, because that's what matters most to me, and I don't realize this at the time, because all I say, like, quote, basically, word for word, is I'm like, oh, I'm glad you didn't, because if you had, I would have stuck my hand in you.
She told me, I'm glad you didn't try, because if you had, I would have stuck my hand in your face.
I'm so sorry.
And so this was me getting hit in the face with a stop sign, and I was like, ouch, okay, never mind. And I was like, karma, I suppose. I just got friend-zoned by the girl that I friend-zoned, like, our entire school years.
Oh, goodness gracious.
And so I'm like, alright, but, like, I will respect when, you know, I will respect when she says no. And she said no. Yeah, in that moment. And so then I told, like, another friend of mine was in the bathroom with me later that night, and I was like, how's the night going? He's like, my date didn't show up. And I'm like, oof, sorry about that. I just got friends on my mind. And he's like, he's like, oh, dang, sorry. But
I'm sorry.
That's so awkward for you.
And so then it was the next day. I drove her home. Is there more?
I go home.
Yeah.
I go home.
Go ahead. This is your part.
By the way, my mom has been here the entire time. She's like my #1 cheerleader. She liked James from when I first liked him, and she was like, "There's something there probably," and I was like, "No, there's not, and there never will be." And she's like, "Well, not right now, but like there might be way in the future." And I was like, "No, Mom, that's like saying I have a chance with my celebrity crush, you know, like." But like since hanging out with him, like this, like the week of like, I like told my mom like when he said that he liked me, and I was like, Mom, what do I do?
He tried to kiss me.
What do I do?
He tried to kiss me.
I go, Mom, he tried to kiss me. She's like, whoa, what happened? I was like, I said I'd put my hand in his face.
It's so crazy because I can hear your mom saying that the way that.
No, that's exactly. And she was like, oh, what? And I was like freaking out to her, and she was like, hey, do you think maybe you're scared because you liked his friendship so much? And I was like, oh.
Oof. Called out.
That's why. All of a sudden, everything that's been confusing for him and for me makes sense. I've been spending this entire time trying to gaslight myself that I don't like him, and now I can't because he likes me back. But I can't like him though, because the last time I did and he figured it out, he stopped being my friend, and I value friendship like above all else at this point in time, and I don't want to lose that. I'm petrified. But I do really, really, really like him, and so the next day was your birthday.
The next day, my birthday, I was having a small. Yeah. I'll just give the prologue. I was having a small gathering of friends, and this is like after the birthday. There's like one more day to talk about, pretty much. But we're having just a small gathering of friends. There were like 6 of them, and I still invited Joanna. And she came early to talk to me.
Yeah. And I kind of came early to talk to him about what I had realized. And I kind of like pulled him outside, and I was like, hey, I want to like kind of apologize basically for the stop sign to the face. Like, hey, I want to let you know that I actually really do like you, and I would love to like date you, but I'm scared a lot right now. Like, I value your friendship over everything else, and it petrifies me to think that I might lose that again. because I already felt like I had. You know, he didn't mean it that way, like I said previously, but I'd felt like that, and I think you just managed to say all the right things. It
was this day, it was that moment that we actually spoke about all of the friend zoning from the previous years. Like, that we actually spoke, like, and I was like, you know, this is where I was coming from when that happened, but now that we're talking about it, I realize how that hurt you, and that was never my intention, right?
And I finally admitted, hey, that hurt. I lost a friend when I was losing friends, and this was like...
I didn't know she was losing friends, right?
Yeah,
and, like,
it was, like I said, just awful timing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, hey, like, I don't mind maybe trying, but I want to put our friendship first. And you were like, absolutely, let's do that. He's like, I don't want to lose your friendship either, because that's what matters most to me. He's like my best friend, and you know.
So yeah, we talked, and it was good, and it was like, okay, so we'll just move forward and we'll see what happens, basically.
Yep.
Fast forward a little bit, and you know, we went on a few dates, and eventually she was...
I'm gonna finish. It's my...
I know.
I'm gonna go fast. You're the one who keeps taking forever. Be quiet.
I haven't told you to slow down. It's okay. I'm
no.
just looking at the time.
I know, and I'm trying to hurry, and you keep interrupting. Please let me... This is my point of view, I think. And so let me finish. Basically, like a couple days later, like we'd like chilled out some, and I was like, man, I really, really like him, and my mom, who is like shipper number 1, was like, hey, I want Taco Bell, and I had like put off getting my license, so I still only have my permit. And I was like, Mom, I can't drive to Taco Bell unless you come with me. And she's like, go get James, he's old enough to be in the car, and drive to Taco Bell and get me some stuff. And so I was like, cool, another excuse to hang out with James, awesome. And so I got James, and we went and got Taco Bell, and then I went to go drop him back off at his house, and then we were just like, I think we were watching something, and just like sitting side by side on his couch. I just kind of look over, and then I kiss him. So.
And I'm like, that's what I was trying to do. She totally stole the first kiss, and I was like, wait a second, that's illegal.
No.
But from there, the rest is history. It wasn't long before we went on some dates again, and she said to me at one point, she's like, you know, if you asked me to be your girlfriend, I wouldn't say no.
And then he was like, I might ask on the next date. And we had literally just planned a date to, like, the temple for our church, like, 2 days from then, and I was like, can we move it to tomorrow?
Yep. So we went on that date early because we just wanted to. And then it was then that I asked her if she wanted to, like, make things official. And then, you know, eventually she decided to pursue marriage with me instead and in place of the mission. And then one thing led to another. I proposed on November 7th, which was the 1 year after we officially started dating. Exactly. And now we're due.
My lucky number.
Yes, and now we are due to be married on July 3rd of this year, 2026.
Also a 7. It's a month 7.
Sorry.
Anyways.
Well, it sounds like you guys have like the biggest green flag relationship on the planet so far.
Hey, all right. Solid seal of approval from a psychology student.
From my psychological analysis, which probably doesn't hold very much weight because I'm not a graduate yet.
No, we'll take it.
Better than anybody else.
It's not like we disagree.
So I just have a few follow-up questions to like get into like your psychology a little bit more now, if that's all right.
Now that we've given you all of the background.
Now that you've given me all the background, it should be pretty easy for you to answer these questions.
Okay.
All right, so the first one, well, these ones are kind of surface level psychology still, but here we are. What is your favorite thing about your relationship? You can only pick one.
Or synchronization. No, I'm just kidding. I would say my favorite thing about our relationship is this service. I think we both race to serve each other. It's always a competition to see who can open the other person's door first when we get to the car. You know, we don't feel we don't feel pressure to feel bad when we want to ask the other, like, hey, would you be willing to like do this for me real quick, or grab this thing, or I really had a bad day. I just need you to hold me. I just need some cuddles or something like that. I think my favorite thing. There's like a second thing that I could say, but I'm gonna stick to this one because I think you'll say the second thing. I feel like the way that we serve each other and the way that we're there for each other, it's clear that neither one of us is ever too tired to do something for the other, and that we're more than happy to do it every time. Also, I'll let you answer first.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think my favorite thing about our relationship is that I think we're like best friends. He's my very best friend, and we can talk about anything, the little things, the big things, everything in between. We have no problems communicating and like teasing each other and all that. He's just like my very best friend and the only person I have ever been in love with.
Yay. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. The conclusion to our big background story was that I ended up being her first boyfriend, her first date, her first kiss, like all of that, and her first fiance.
Will be my first and only.
First
everything.
and only. Yay.
That's so fun though. I love that.
I also.
So then, in light. Oh, sorry. You go.
I just want to recognize somebody in the chat. A coworker of mine has actually just jumped in the chat, and I'm super excited that she's here. So, thank you so much. I see you. I don't know if you want me to say your name out loud, but I see you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on Monday. But stick around for as long as you want. I'm glad you didn't fall asleep on your couch, like you said you might. Okay, sorry. Continue, Adira.
No, you're totally good. So what is the one or two things that you admire most about each other?
I went first last time. If you want to talk about how amazing I am first.
He's humble too.
I am extraordinarily humble, yes.
I love you. So cute. My favorite thing about him is probably once again like centered around like communication. Like he's willing to talk to me about anything and listen to me about anything. He feels like my perfect match. Like he is better than my dream guy. Like I especially love how much you like have shaped my life and changed me for the better, always encouraging me to do and be better and strive to like be the best that I can be, to stand by you as often as I can, and just has always encouraged me in ways that like nobody else ever has. So
thank you, love. My favorite thing about her from the beginning of our relationship, I've said it since the beginning, and I think it still stands. My favorite thing about her is her purity. Her not just in a faith-based religion way, but also just as a person. She's the most kind-hearted, pure person I have ever known, and it drives me to be a better person as well. There are times when I realize, like, oh, I'm thinking I might be like extra irritated with a situation or a person, and I might be like, oh my gosh, I just wish that like I didn't have to deal with this kind of a thing. But usually she, like, just her presence in the room reminds me, and slowly has turned it into habit for me, and has changed my perspective on everything in the world, where it's easier for me to look at somebody the way that she might look at somebody, the way that I believe God looks at each of his children, with just love and compassion. She's made me a better person because she is the most bright and shining example of Christ-like kindness, of just pure love, and like choosing the right thing, even if other people might call it, for lack of a better word, cringe. But I mean, she's just, yeah, That's my way of saying that you're perfect.
Well, it sounds like you guys both have awesome qualities.
He does.
So let's turn this a little bit into like about you guys as individuals rather than as couples.
Okay.
So this question I have is, what have you learned about yourself from this relationship?
I don't know if you want to go first. I mean, I know what my answer is. If you want some time to think about it, I can go first. Okay. I mean, there's so many amazing things about the relationship I have with Jocelyn. But I think something that I've learned about myself, that I seem to like never learn enough about. Like I'm always learning, I'm always relearning this. I'm learning it over and over again to a larger extent, is that I can be myself. I think when you find your person, you find that someone that you can just be yourself with unapologetically, and there's no judgment. They love you for like who you are, even if they might not understand it right away, even if they're like, that's really nerdy, but it's just cute that you're so passionate about this thing. Or, there's things, I feel like in public, she has changed me to in public be more comfortable with being myself. I'm a lot more cheerful and silly and goofy. And if for the people who have known me for a long time, you might think that's impossible. He's always been cheerful and silly and goofy. But like even more so, I can go to work and be wearing my bluey sweater and be wearing my hat that says "Friend in Jesus," and I don't feel like I have to put on a mask for anybody nearly as much as I did previously in my life. And then there's also just the fact that like when it's just the two of us, I am able to just be myself. I'm not performing for her, and she's not performing for me. I've learned about myself that I can experience joy that is not manufactured. I can experience joy that's just natural, that's just like celestially embedded into our DNA and into our very souls. Just the idea that I am allowed to be myself, and I never had to ask permission to be myself.
Yeah.
And what about you?
What was the question again?
What have you learned about yourself?
What have I learned about myself?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I learned a lot, and I'm still learning a lot. I think that's actually like one of the things I like love most is that he's helped me embrace, like, similar to yours, those truest parts of myself. He's somebody that loves my intelligence and my nerdiness and my silly, goofy, childlike side, and values those same values that I have. I've learned to stand my ground more often because I know that I have somebody who will always support me in it. I have learned a lot about how I most feel loved, and I'm learning especially what I want, and it's okay to ask for that. I'm very much a people pleaser, and I sort of knew that, but I'm really learning it as I'm learning to unlearn some of that, I guess. I'm learning to be able to ask for those things that I need, even if I don't really know how. I'm really bad at asking for help and asking for things, but he's helped me learn that I'm allowed to. I can. And so I do, I guess.
I'm so proud of you.
I feel like it's so important to be able to offer that safe space for each other. That's one of the key indicators that made me want to marry my husband because, and I'm learning in my psychology class this time around that it's like that's a very good thing to have because that fosters good communication. That fosters, um, space for you guys to heal from anything from the past that hurt you or you're trying to let go of, and that gives you more room to grow into who you really are. And I think that's something that's beautiful.
Absolutely. We do have, I actually have a question for you, Adira. One of our friends in the chat put a question in, and I don't remember if this is on your list of questions to ask us tonight, but if it does fit with your itinerary, feel free to, say, ooh, we'll get to that in a moment. But somebody in the chat asked us, what are we looking forward to in the future? Do you have any question that that aligns with coming up?
Yes, that one is coming up in just a couple questions.
Okay, all right, so we'll wait for that one.
We'll get to it. Don't worry, we'll get to it.
Perfect.
So these next 3 questions that I have go along with what you've learned in the relationship. And you can choose which one you want to answer, so I'll just list them out. I've got, what does it being emotionally and or mentally healthy mean to you? How do you handle conflict? And what does commitment mean to you?
Those are good questions.
I can answer the second one in one word, but you have to repeat it because I forgot what it was.
How do you handle conflict?
Communication.
Facts.
I mean, it's like practice makes perfect, right? Practice communication, right. Practice being open in your communication. 100%. I'm going to say something very bold here, but I don't think you'll disagree with me. 100% of all of our disagreements and arguments have been solved because we communicated and found out that we misunderstood what the other person was saying.
Yes.
That is typically very accurate, yes.
100% of our disagreements have been because of misunderstandings. And thankfully, 100% of them have been solved after we take a break if needed, come back to it with a fresh mind, and then hear both of us hear the other out. We hear everything that the other person wants to say and has to say, and it doesn't mean that we agree on everything, right? Mm-hmm. An argument and solving it does not mean that you disagree and now you agree. It means that you listen to each other and you come to a higher understanding of the other person. And so there are things that she thinks that I don't agree with, and there's things that I think where she's like, I don't know if I think that way, right? But after communication, we realize we get to fully realize the validity of what the other person is feeling and thinking. And I would say probably about 95% of the time, we find out we actually do agree, and we thought we disagreed, but we're actually saying the same exact thing. Yeah. So yeah. It is... Yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say a lot of it's arguing over semantics that we realize we're actually both saying the exact same thing. And the other little bit, we just didn't know something the other person did.
Yeah.
And learning about it is like, oh...
That makes sense.
Actually, no, now I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay, I see that. Actually, I'm so sorry, or whatever. It usually ends up solving itself.
Yeah.
If we just talk about it.
It's like ironing wrinkles out of clothing, or like unkinking a hose where the flow is blocked. Like, it just takes time and patience. The idea of like, if you got a wrinkled shirt, you could just be like, oh my gosh, and then throw it in the closet and like never wear it again. That's how a relationship dies, right? But if you take the iron, which represents communication in this analogy that I just geniusly came up with, if you take the iron and you iron the wrinkles out and you spend the time, it's not something where you go like, you don't do it quickly. You do it slowly, gently, and with love, right? It's something where you carefully iron out each wrinkle, paying special attention to each spot of the disagreement until you've smoothed it all out. And I think communication, I mean, earlier when you asked what is like our favorite things about our relationship, I said service and she said communication, but communication was the first thing that I thought of, and I was like, nah, she'll take that. I was like, I know that's what she's gonna say. But I genuinely think that communication is one of the, if not the most important things in a healthy relationship of any kind, not just romantic.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's like, it's that communication that fosters that connection. And so you can actually like know that person rather than just like the surface, like, oh, I know your favorite color type thing. No, it's like you know the thought processes of this person. And even if you don't agree with it, because it's like, obviously, you two are separate people. You're allowed to have things that you're like, I'll agree to disagree with you.
Yeah.
That's perfectly healthy and perfectly normal and actually expected in a green flag relationship. So, you guys have, you've got this.
Yeah.
Did you have something you wanted to say, love?
I was gonna ask what the other two questions were, if you wanted me to kind of answer one of the other ones,
Mhm.
maybe.
Yeah, for sure. So one of them is, what does being emotionally and or mentally healthy mean to you? Or what does commitment mean to you?
I think emotionally and mentally, like, healthy is the one I want to kind of focus on. I think for me, I have learned that there are many facets to a person. It's often I've heard it compared to like a gem. So sometimes you only see the one facet of a gem. And so when you see somebody who may seem like they have lots of different like personalities around different people, sometimes it's just a different facet that's facing. It doesn't necessarily make that part of them incorrect or not part of them. Sometimes it's literally just you're looking at another facet of their being, I guess. And in my mind, emotional and mental health is when you take the time to embrace all those facets of yourself. When you learn that just because you've grown doesn't mean your child is gone, your inner child is gone. It's still there. It may need less, but it doesn't mean it doesn't need anything anymore. It's still there. It's still a part of you that wants things and looks a certain way and acts a certain way. And as you learn to take care of the entire gem, you learn to polish every facet of it. I think the more you are mentally and emotionally like healthy and stable and able to stand against the test of time and be able to know that even sometimes the masks that you think aren't at all part of you may have some nugget of truth hidden underneath them. You just need to brush away the dust.
You're so wise.
That was one of the most beautiful analogies I've ever been given for that. So thank you.
This is the value of listening to your wife, my almost wife, because that's one I hadn't heard either. But I absolutely agree.
I came with
This one's a deep thinker, she is.
Yeah.
So then, we can go ahead and move on to some questions about like marriage. So, what are some of your expectations for your marriage?
You want to go first?
Sure. Expectations for our marriage.
Like for each other? Or just like
For
what
each
it might
other,
look like?
for the relationship, like any expectations you guys might have.
I think for me, I kind of look forward to a lot and expect like an even deeper closeness. Like you've always been my best friend, right? Like he's my very best friend, but like I look forward to and I expect that we will be able to draw even closer and be able to like I don't know, I expect that I will never get tired of him and we'll be able to talk through anything. Like I have never been bored in his company even if we're both sitting in silence doing something else, just being near him makes me feel complete in a way I didn't think was possible. And I expect that to grow and continue and to be able to actually, like, a little bit more given to my desire to just have him be my home, something that I come back to every day, and I don't have to leave, and I get to spend eternity by his side.
I'd say my number one expectation is that I don't have to, like, tell her goodnight as she drives away every night. Like, but I think I expect, kind of like how she said, one of her expectations is that she hopes, like, so that she never grows tired of my presence, and I agree with that. But even more, to expand on that, I think I expect it to be a wonderful thing, an amazing, beautiful thing, that we will never run out of new things to learn about each other. I feel like we'll always be learning more about each other, things that we didn't know about ourselves that we're discovering together. We're gonna be like 70, and we're gonna be old, and you're gonna be telling me this story about, like, this one girl in 5th grade with you, and I'm gonna be like, no, because you genuinely, like, we've never touched that story before, and this is something I had no idea about, right? But, like, as we continue to live new experiences together, we're going to create more memories, and every memory branches off into more things to talk about, more things to reminisce about. And I think we can always find variety and newness and life in looking at the memories of our past and living in the present and planning things for the future. I expect that we will never run out of things to say, do, or be with each other.
I think that's wonderful. And it's like, as you guys keep that perspective, I can guarantee you, because some of the happiest marriages I've looked at in my time studying psychology so far, that was one of their biggest things that they made a point to always keep in mind. And they're some of the happiest, most successful marriages I have seen.
Nice.
We got this, babe.
We got it.
So, on that note, why do you guys think that some marriages succeed versus fail?
I'm gonna have to think on that one a little bit, because we're not married yet. So
Could I actually
Sure.
have, like, a bit of an answer?
Real quick, hi to Brittany jumping in the chat. Go ahead, babe.
I actually, like, sorry, can you repeat the question? You interrupted my thoughts.
Sorry, why do we
Yeah.
think some marriages fail and some marriages succeed?
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be honest. I think it's kind of related to, I have, like, this theory about soulmates. Soulmates are a choice. They're somebody you choose and then choose to continue choosing constantly, all the time, and never, like soulmates. Some people are like, oh, you have to find the right person. I'm like, no, the right person can be anybody as long as you choose them and choose them again and again and again and again. And I think that marriages succeed when you continue to choose your partner again and again and again. And the times where marriages fail, I think, is when one or both decide to choose something else.
Unless you had more. I just want to piggyback directly off of that.
Yeah, piggyback directly off of that. I have, like, one more, but it's
You can finish. Go ahead.
like sort of along with that. I think I'm very much like a religious person, so I think something that I also think helps a marriage succeed, and I think will help our marriage succeed when we get there, is also choosing God first, because He is the connector. He is the one that bridges all gaps. And so when gaps in our communication and understanding start failing and making the divide, making it harder to choose. When we choose God, he helps us choose commitment and choose eternity.
Yeah, I would say you mentioned something before. We talked about this just the other day, actually, yesterday, right? Yeah, about the idea of how you don't necessarily choose who you love, but you absolutely should love who you chose, right? So you choose. So the choice that you make, you love them every single day. If hypothetically I were in a relationship with somebody else other than Jocelyn, if I'm in a relationship with that person and Jocelyn, the most perfect woman for me ever, comes along, it doesn't matter, because I've chosen this person, this other person. Thankfully, this isn't the situation. I'm just using it as an example. Because I've chosen this person, and like, it is my duty, it is my responsibility to love this person who I have chosen. And if for any reason that should break apart, it should have nothing to do with this other woman who has walked in, right? Same scenario with Jocelyn and I. If I could never, it's completely impossible. Actually, I should have just led with this. It's completely impossible for there to be a better woman for me than Jocelyn. But which is why I should have led with this. Which is why I can use this as a hypothetical, because it doesn't exist and it could never exist. But if there were ever to be like another person walking down the street, it doesn't matter if they're the most perfect girl in the world, even like the most perfect girl in the world for me. It doesn't matter. I have chosen this woman right here, and she is mine, and I am hers, and it's the idea. I think a lot of people will say like, okay, I chose this person, but now I'm having feelings for this person over here. Not every marriage fails because of infidelity, but I do see those statistics rising in today's modern society.
Right.
It does not matter. You have a duty and a responsibility to be there for the person you chose, which is why I think that marriage and courtship in general shouldn't be taken lightly. Piggybacking off of what you said, being loyal and being a partner that holds fidelity close to their heart involves choosing that person again and again, over and over again. And when a relationship fails, it's when at least one of them decides to choose something else, right? I think that love is selflessness. I don't choose Joanna because I'm like choosing me, right? Because I'm not choosing her because she's going to be the best for me. I'm choosing her because I want to be the best for her. I'm choosing her because she's the person I want to take care of for the rest of my life. It's like what is it? Theodore Roosevelt, when he says, "Ask not." I'm going to amend his words a little bit. Ask not what your wife can do for you, but what you can do for your wife. He's talking about the country, right? Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, right? I feel like it's a very wise principle, and I think it's the same thing. And the opposite of selflessness is selfishness, right? When you start choosing yourself. And hate isn't necessarily the opposite of love. I would say apathy is. The lack of feeling, the complete indifference. And when somebody becomes apathetic, it's because they are turning inwards, right? So selflessness breeds love. Selfishness breeds apathy. And that, I think, is the more common, not infidelity specifically, but apathy, selfishness, selfish feelings, apathetic feelings are where marriages fail. And I think that is a better word to describe across the board what happens when relationships, again, not just marriages, but relationships with anybody you have, fall apart. That's my personal belief.
I agree. I had like 3 follow-up questions for this, and you answered all of them beautifully.
Hey, let's go!
So I do want to note, though, that what you're talking about, what you mentioned with how any relationship would fall apart, there's actually a word in psychology that we use for that. It's called polarization, which by definition is when one or both partners in that relationship become so self-centered that they cannot meet the other person's needs in any regard. So that's an actual thing that is high enough statistic in psychology that there's actual proof that it happens.
Yeah, I guess it's a good thing I said my favorite thing about a relationship is service, selflessness, and being there for each other. Also, there was something in the chat. Somebody thinks that you are like way out of my league, because I mean, like, you shook my world when you came in. Somebody said, "Ain't no way you're dating that girl," and they said you're an earthquake because you are just absolutely groundbreaking, and you've shaken my world. It's true. I am the luckiest guy in the room. I am lucky to have her. Oh.
I feel like I'm.
So please continue, Adira. How many more do we have?
For sure. We are coming to a close. I only have 3 questions left. So,
all right, let's do it.
So one that I think is very important to cover is what attributes, characteristics, or virtues will be the most important for your marriage?
Communication.
I'd say communication, selflessness, to like put love and service into one word. I'd say communication, selflessness, and we should probably think of at least a third one to wrap it in a nice bow. What do you think?
What was the question again?
Attributes and traits and virtues that will be important in a healthy relationship in our marriage.
I think for us another one is God.
Oh yeah, absolutely, God.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
God. I mean, I know not everybody out there necessarily has a belief in a supreme creator or even in the same supreme creator that we do, but I feel like the moral compass that we share, the beliefs that we had, will be one of the most important things, not just in our relationship as husband and wife, but hopefully our relationship as a father and a mother to our future children, which is, in our plans as well. What? Did you have something to add?
Just I saw somebody's typing.
Oh, somebody asked siblings or dating. I'll let you keep guessing. Happy vibes, and Wyatt, thank you so much for coming into the chat. Oh, and Mr. Shizuku. Yeah. He said dating with a question mark. You can figure it out. You got this, bro. You got this. There's a ring there. There's a ring there. Anyway, but yeah, I would say God, communication, and selflessness. I would say that those are 3 amazing words. If I were to add a 4th one, I would just say, not so much carefree, but like fun, like the concept that we talked about earlier. Joy. Let's go. Yeah, joy. The concept that we talked about earlier, where we can be ourselves, we can be goofy and silly, and we can genuinely enjoy each other's company. So I think communication, selflessness, joy, and then God wraps all of those into a nice bow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I would second every notion.
Let's go.
Well done. Our next question is much more lighthearted than all the psychological, let me analyze you questions. What are you most excited about for this next chapter?
If we didn't answer my coworker's question in the chat earlier about what you're looking forward to in the future, I think we'll definitely answer it here. What are you most excited for the next chapter? Honestly, I would just repeat the concept that I won't have to say goodbye to her every night. The fact that we're having an eternal sleepover, a sleepover that never ends.
Oh, I'm so excited! Please, just get married.
And it's not even in like it. Just the concept that we get to hang out with each other for the rest of our lives,
the rest of eternity,
and we and beyond this life too. We'll never have to part. We'll never have to say goodbye. And even when one of us does leave this life, we know that we can look forward to seeing each other again, and then never having to say goodbye again, right? Just the idea that all of the choices will be ours. We get to decide what fun meal we want to have. Do we want to go macaroni and dino nuggets, or do we want to go shrimp pasta with fettuccine alfredo? I'm hungry, by the way. Right?
Get you more food after this.
She loves to bake. I love to cook. We can decide what movies we want to watch. We can decide what games we want to play. We can decide if we just want to do nothing. And we literally just get to live our own little slice of paradise. Which I know, this is definitely like, I can see people saying already, y'all like aren't even married yet, you're still in the honeymoon phase. Just wait, it gets so horrible, which I've heard people say, and I'm like,
that sucks.
I'm like, sorry. Sorry, I choose joy.
Yeah.
I choose
See,
joy.
I was told something very similar getting ready to marry my husband, and I was like, oh. But I can still honestly say that even after almost a year, we're still in our honeymoon phase, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon.
Woo!
And I think that's because the way we view our relationship, my husband is the one that mentioned this to me, we're best friends with marital benefits.
Yeah.
So we still date each other.
Perfect.
We still date each other, but we're just married now.
That's awesome. I think I have to agree with you there. I've watched my parents have one of the best relationships I've ever seen, and they have been my staple and my like guiding flame in what a relationship looks like and should be like. And my dad always kisses my mom goodbye and when he comes home. Every single time. I have seen multiple times him come back in because he almost forgot to give my mom a kiss. And he was like driving down the road and was like, shoot, I forgot to give my mom a kiss. Like, and comes running back in to give her a kiss before he goes. And like,
I do believe it's in the little things.
yeah, it's the little things that I think really make like a marriage forever. And I genuinely can't picture us getting bored together. I am so excited, I think, though, like most of all, I guess I gotta want to add, I'm most excited for the only boundaries to be what we set up and not what we should.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like,
it's not so much of like, oh, we shouldn't do this, but our boundaries with each other are our preferences and not society's or anything else's.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because anyways,
Yeah.
Somebody jumped in chat and said snails have 4 noses. I didn't know that.
That is rad.
Did you know that, Adira?
Sorry, what?
Somebody jumped in chat and said, did you know snails have 4 noses?
I did not know that, but that's pretty cool.
All right. So, and what is the follow-up question? The follow-up
The
question?
final concluding question we have
The
here
final one.
is,
Okay.
what advice would you give to the single peeps out there?
This is every single live show that we have ever had. This is the number one thing that anybody asks for in the chat when they come in. They're like, oh, free advice. There's a girl, or there's a guy, or how do I, or when will I, and it's like, here's the thing. I have the secret. I have the secret. The secret, believe it or not, is to look inwards. And it's not selfish. What I mean is, the secret to finding joy is to love yourself, be the best version of yourself, because the best version of yourself will attract the person most suited for you. Yeah. If you are going to attract, like, if you are living your life a certain way, you're going to attract other people who are living their lives that way. So if you are living your life, and I'm going to say this boldly, I hope that maybe it's quoted someday in a textbook somewhere, but if you are living your life in desperation for attention, that you will take anybody at a moment's notice, then you will get exactly that. You will get just anybody who is also desperate and just wants you because you're available. However, on the flip side, if you spend time loving yourself, being a happy person who is perfectly content in your life, regardless of your relationship status, that is the most attractive trait any one person could have. If you stop trying to chase the prettiest girls or the most popular girls, and I'm saying girls just from my experience as a guy, but this goes both ways. If you spend your time trying to act in a way that you think other people will like, you're going to attract the wrong people. You need to live in the way that you want to. Because when you live the way you want to live, you will attract the kind of person that wants to live the same way.
And loves you for solely you.
And not for some fake mask you've put on.
Yeah.
And that is, I think that's the best way I can summarize the advice that we both give, but that I give every time somebody asks on my live shows. I say genuinely the secret to getting a good, healthy relationship is to give yourself the attention, the good attention to live a healthy lifestyle. Being happy with who you are is how you will find the person who is most fitted for you.
If you're happy with who you are, they will be too. And you'll be happy with them because you'll love them for them. I think another kind of add on I want to say is when you do find a relationship after you've I guess found yourself a little bit, when you're at a point where you are dating because you like the person, not because you like the idea of dating. I think communication is key. This is what I decided was my motto like a million years ago. Communication is key. I think a lot of our answers to a lot of the questions have literally just been communication.
Mm-hmm.
I am able to talk to him about the good, the bad, the ugly, the awkward, everything. I can tell him silly stories again and again and again, even if it's the same one I've accidentally told you 7 times already.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's hey, there's a problem and I need to talk with you about it. Or, this is gonna be awkward, but I need you to know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's communication is key. He's my first and only relationship, but I read a lot of romance novels, still do. I love them. Almost all of my least favorite problems that were most easily solvable were miscommunication based. That one had information, the other didn't, or both didn't, and they weren't talking about it, and they never mentioned it, and that's why problems were arising, because somebody thought something that the other person was meaning, but they weren't, because they were meaning this thing that wasn't, and like so many layers sometimes. But if they just mentioned it once, most of the book would be skipped. Most of it. So
I think it's absolutely true, and there's a reason why every romance novel where there's trouble in paradise comes from miscommunication. It's because that's genuinely like the number one thing. I think communication, if I were to wrap it up in one word, I would say both communication and what I was saying wrap up into one word of honesty. Can you be open communication is part of honesty. Can you be honest with the person you're talking to, but also before you have that person in your life, can you be honest not just with yourself by being yourself, but can you be honest with the rest of the world around you? Can you be yourself and be truthful about who you are in the face of society? Which, it's not an easy thing. It's scary, and it's something you have to practice, and it's a very brave thing that ought to be praised and commended. But honesty in your communication and honesty with who you are as a person will find the person who is honestly the perfect match for you.
That's some pretty epic advice. I'd say you guys got this down.
we're perfect.
No. Definitely not. Not perfect.
Far from it.
Practically almost, though.
But you got it down far enough that at least officially dubbed green flag relationship.
Woo! We're a green flag relationship.
So,
we're so rad.
You guys are so rad.
So what now?
All right.
Were there any more questions? You said that was the final one?
That was the final one. So if there are any questions that the audience has or that you guys have for me, I'm down for just about anything.
Somebody wanted to know if we were siblings or dating.
Wrong. Engaged.
Engaged. Technically, yeah. That's how do you say no plurally?
None of the above.
Oh no! I mean, thank you so much for coming on here and doing the interview with us. I'm grateful that we were able to help your project here. Is there like an official diagnosis that comes after this, or like?
I'll have to actually go back and watch this and get the actual analysis, and then I'll text you so you can like be like, this is the update. This is what the the analysis said.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much, Adira. If you have anything,
Of course,
if you have anything that you want to say, I don't know, to the audience or anything, if you have anything you want to add, please feel free to. Don't want to cut you off early at all.
I just wanted to say thank you guys so much, like both you and Joanna, for being willing to do this with me, and also for the audience for tuning in. Because I think it's so critical to understand what your expectations are, what you're learning, and to reflect often in order to be able to have a healthy relationship. Because let's be real, 99.999% of the human population wants to have a healthy relationship. But only, according to some statistics that I've been seeing in my class, only roughly about 60%, and that's just for America, 60% of Americans say that they have a happy, healthy relationship, and that actually have like the cues that show that it is. And so I think it's so critical to like talk about this and like really review yourself and like figure out who, like James said, like who you want to be, and start being that in order to ensure that you're going to have a healthy relationship.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Adira. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for coming on the stream tonight. We really appreciate you being here. And I also want to say thank you to you, baby, for coming on the show with me tonight with us.
I like talking about you.
You do. I am pretty amazing. And extraordinarily humble.
It's true. I brag to all of my friends about you so much that they're like, Joanna, please talk about literally anything other than your fiance.
Anything else.
Say no. I can talk about my fiance because I'm only going to be engaged once.
Exactly. No,
and then it's going to be upgraded to husband because he'll be my husband forever.
Yes. It's like every time they try to like change the subject, I'm like, that actually reminds me of my fiance. I'm like, wait, but adding on my fiance.
That's so funny. Well, we are. Well, I mean, we're over time as it is, and we didn't even need to say that or mention that. It was clear, but you know, no regrets about it. We go over time every single time. The stream always lasts somewhere between an hour and 2 hours, and we're about at an hour 45 minutes. So thank you so much for taking the extra time with us as well. I know that I hope our answers are helpful, that they were as in depth as you needed.
Most definitely.
But thank you again, Adira. And you know, without any more, if we're all finished up, we'll go ahead and we'll close out today's live show. Thank you, Adira, once again. Thank you, my love. Mwah. Thank you to everybody in the chat, friends, family, coworkers, loyal fans who come on to see us talk about life and living it and just having fun together. Fun fact, I just want to give a little bit of behind the scenes peek. Adira reached out to me today, like, what is it right now? 5 hours ago. Or 6. 5 or 6 hours ago, she reached out to me today and was like, hey, by the way, in the next day or two, do you have time for a video interview? And we set up this stream for tonight with her as our guest star, and I got Jocelyn over here as quick as I could. We set this all up just tonight. Originally, tonight was I didn't have much of a plan. It was literally tonight's live show was going to be called Friday Nights at Freddy's, and I was going to be playing Five Nights at Freddy's. that was the plan. But I'm very grateful that we got to do this, and I'm very grateful that we got to share this moment together. You know, we're all here, everybody, even the people who jumped in just for a second, you know, we're all part of each other's journey, and it's such an incredible story of humanity that we're weaving, and it's an honor to be a little tiny piece of each of all of you, of each of your stories, including you, Adira. And so thank you very much for being here, everybody. We hope you have a wonderful night. If there's any last things that either of you two girls would like to say, please go ahead.
Just thanks for all the time and for being awesome about setting this up so spontaneously.
Yeah, thank you so much. Everybody, please remember to eat your banana pancakes. Never forget that the world is a better place with you in it. We love you, and we hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for coming. Bye-bye, everybody. Mwah. Bye. Everybody say bye.